Good morning, everyone. And it has been a very, very long time since we got to hear the Primecast drums, but we are back finally for an episode of Privateer Primecast live here on Twitch and Facebook. If you've never watched any of our shows before, first let me introduce myself. I'm Will Hungerford, lead developer at Privateer Press and your host of Primecast. Primecast is a monthly show we do where we get people on throughout the company to talk about whatever they have going on with their weird lives. We've got Jordan, Danny, John, Faye, Brian, no Tony. Tony will never come on Primecast, but you might hear him in the background. It's going to be a fun show, and we've got a lot of cool things to show you, including some previews of what's going to be at Warfare Weekend. But if you want to watch more of us, we stream weekly. Every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific on the Dev Chat, where myself and Oz get on and talk about what's going on with the games we make. You're going to want to watch the one tomorrow if you're a War Machine player, because we're going to show off all the concept art for the new Convergent CID and talk a little bit about some of the rules, but not a full rule spoiler. The day after will be Jordan on Get Your Paint On. That's Jordan's show where every week he gets on and he paints the miniatures that we make, talks to you live about hobby tips and tricks, and is overall just a delightful human being. I have no idea what Jordan's painting this Thursday, but I bet we can ask him whenever he comes on. We also do a staff showdown about once or twice a month where we get on and play the games we make. And the next one is going to be November 19th, so just before the Thanksgiving holiday. I don't know which one that's going to be, Tony. Tony, what are we playing?
I believe it's going to be Riot Quest.
We're playing Riot Quest? Am I on that one?
Probably.
Because I need revenge against Jeff. He keeps stealing victory. And then a show that is tenuously holding on to its existence, mainly due to Danny Samuels, is Hobby Hangout. Hobby Hangout is a great idea. It's where Danny, but mainly Brian, gets on and teaches you things about how to build terrain, do conversions. We're trying not to cancel Danny, but we really need you to come in and show your love and support for Brian. And by doing so, that show will get to stick around. Before we start getting people on, there's a couple announcements we want to make. First off, the current mini crates. If you've never heard about Mini Crate, it is a Loot Crate style subscription service where you will get a new miniature every month. You can do single subscriptions, or you can do a 6-month sub, in which case you will get a VIP model. The current model for War Machine Hordes is the non-metallic Newman of Aurora. Kind of pertinent right now with the new Convergent CID going on, but if you want a non-metal version of Aurora, just straight Angel Aurora, this is a beautiful model. Very big, still on a 30 millimeter base, but I think she takes up much greater wingspan than the original Aurora. And of course, the VIP model right now, if you do a 6-month sub, is the Trancer Dancer, if you want to add a little disco to your Crucible Guard. For the Legend of the Five Rings line, for those of you that are fans of L5R or playing the RPG right now, Akodo, right, Tony? We're going to go with Akodo. Akodo is the current mini crate model. Just came out recently, still available till November 5th before it swaps over. And Sadako is still the VIP model, also swapping out on November 5th. So just a handful of days left before both of these models swap out of rotation. Over on the Savage Mini Crate, which is the works of Robert E. Howards, is going to be El Borak, who's available till November 12th. And we still have till, I think, January 12th for getting King Conan on the throne. So if you do a 6-month sub, you will still get King Conan before he eventually swaps out. And obviously, if you're a fan of Conan or any of Robert E. Howard's works, Conan's like one of the main characters you want. And the only one in this cycle was Conan on the throne. So don't miss out on that. So let's get to the show, shall we, Tony? I didn't get a star wipe. Oh, I get drums. Yeah, drums are better than star wipes. So in today's show, first we're going to go over all the new announcements, the new products that are coming out that are in your stores now, are coming out very soon. Talk about some organized play going on. Then we're going to have John and Jordan on to talk about Warfare Weekend and even talk about some of the things that will be available for pre-release at Warfare Weekend. We're going to have Jordan talk about some of the new paints coming up in 2020 for the P3 line. Then Faye is going to join Jordan, and we're going to talk about a staff slow grow league, the Oblivion League, that we're actually going to run in-house and sort of what we're planning on doing it and how much we can show all of you. And then the aforementioned superstar Brian is going to come on with Danny, and they're going to talk about the Hobby Hangout as well and why you should watch that new show and what it's got to offer you. But let's start with what's happening with you locally in your local store, and that's all the new products that are hitting stores, many of which are available right now. On the War Machine side of things, two of the most hotly anticipated Archons are finally available in the Void Archon, which Tony's going to bring up on the screen. Boop. If you want a weird metal angel that kills everything, just go to the store and buy one. Jordan did a Get Your Paint On this one, which you can find on our YouTube channel a while back. So if you're wondering how to paint the swirly bottom, Jordan will teach you how to do that. A lot of blending. Don't just base the coat that thing and wash it. There's better ways to do it. And Jordan shows you how to two-brush blend on that video. For those of you who don't want to blend swirly bottoms, you can just paint your Archer Angel instead with a Thamorite Archon, which is also now available. If you are a fan of winning games and want to kill everything your opponent brings, I recommend bringing one, or if you can, both of these Archons. They're very good at it. Also, for those of you getting ready to play more Order of Illumination models, Alexia the Undying is out, which if you're playing Flame in the Darkness, Alexia is going to pair very well with all those Morrowinds and Thamorites you're adding, especially once the Legion of Lost Souls drops. Speaking of the Order of Illumination, the Vigilants are in the store now, as is Grandmaster Gabriel Throne. Moving away from War Machine, we've got some Monpox stuff that just hit stores recently. Gorgodratron is out, and I'm a huge fan of Ubercore International, as are many of you. The response to Ubercore International so far has been tremendous. I guess there's a lot of Mechagodzilla fans out there. So if you're looking to pick up one of your two monsters for Ubercore, Gorgodratron is out right now, and you will have a ton of fun just destroying / saving cities. Obviously, Ubercore, they're the good guys, right, Tony? They're here to save you. I mean, for a small fee, right? A little bit of insurance on the place to make sure it doesn't blow up, a little bit extra money in their pocket. They'll save you, right? No. Olgoth, speaking of giant monsters, if you're a Lords of Cthulhu player and being a destroyer, this weird giant sack of nonsense is finally out. A really great control piece. Every time you hit it, it just keeps plopping down little disgusting meat slaves or whatever else from the Lords of Cthulhu you want to drop down. He's super annoying to try and fight and has a very different playstyle than the other Lords of Cthulhu's monsters. So for those of you that like Eldritch Horror or horrifying your friends and family, this is a good one to pick up. I am terrified to see some of the paint jobs that are going to come out of this model. Tony, can you imagine somebody painting this thing flesh? Just flesh-colored Olgoth? With no, we're going to stop. Speaking of more Lords of Cthulhu, the Snatchers and Hellions blister is now out. So adding some more weird meat sack floaty bits to your Lords of Cthulhu force. Really, I would apologize, but Oz did this. And apparently some of you like it, so we hope you enjoy your weird monstrosities. On the more humane side of things, there's some Empire of the Apes models out. White Dijon is finally out, which is one of the chunkiest boys we've ever put out for Monpoc. He's got a corgi butt in the back, but that doesn't matter because in the front he will deal an insane amount of damage to you. Also, he paints up really easy. Fur is super easy to paint. I'm sure Jordan has plenty of videos on how to do that. And then if you are picking up White Dijon, you're going to want some units to go with him. The Ape Bomber and Command Ape unit blister has come out as well. Now, that's all in your stores right now. You can go pick up any of that at your local store, or if they've sold out, ask them to order more. All of it is available and can be sent out. Coming up very soon, the next few Riot Quest models are going to be dropping. We've previewed them on previous dev chats recently, so you can probably go find their rules if you go back to a couple of the YouTube videos. But Boss McHorn is going to be hitting stores on November 15th. She will also have War Machine and Horde's rules, and is probably one of the most powerful Jack Marshals that we've made with Drive Dismantle. So if your opponent brings any constructs, they're going to have a really bad time when they're facing Boss McHorn. Also, probably my most anticipated model of 2019, Leadfoot and Treads is finally coming out. So Leadfoot and Treads can be built two ways. You can build it with the hatch up, in which case it is Leadfoot and Treads, the character you would play in Riot Quest, or the character model you can play in War Machine. Or you can build it with the hatch down, in which case it is a generic pig tank for use in War Machine and Hordes. Their FA2, we've heard a lot of people since seeing their rules that they're going to buy 3 copies of this blister, one for Leadfoot and Treads and 2 pig tanks, and run a little 17-point tank brigade in their Crow Company lists. I believe this model might be at War Machine Weekend, but Jordan will be able to confirm, or John will be able to confirm with us in a little bit. And if it is, we'll probably sell out of it absolutely instantaneously. So we'll see. Speaking of John and Jordan, I think it's getting close to getting them on. But before we do, there's an OP announcement I want to make up real fast. It's the holidays. And in fact, Tony, are we doing a pumpkin carving stream?
We are.
When is that happening?
This Thursday on Get Your Paint On. That is what we are painting.
So this Thursday, we're going to carve up. So do we have privateer stencils to do?
We do, and I believe those were made available as PDFs for people to use for their own pumpkins.
That's awesome. So we're in the Halloween spirit right now. I've shaven so that I could go as one of my favorite comic book characters this Halloween. I also tricked someone else into shaving. We'll get to that in a little bit. But if you're a fan of the Halloween spirit, right now, the Longest Night organized play is going on for War Machine of Hordes. You can go to your local store. You can participate in the event. Your store can host costume contests if they want to. They can hand out candy if they want to. There's all kinds of rules and fun things you can do. And then if you want to join us on the Thursday stream and start carving up some pumpkins and get your own stencils. But if you do go to your local store and they bought one of the Longest Night kits, I just wanted to show you the prize that you get just for showing up either in costume or playing a game. And that is the current Longest Night patch, a new version of the Witchfire, which we felt was kind of appropriate given A, Longest Night is kind of a Halloween-y thing in the first place, and B, Alexi the Undying is about to be hitting stores, or just actually hit stores. So swing by your local store, get that, put it on your denim jacket, walk into a bar, be a tough guy, don't get in a fight. So let's get other people other than me on this show, so it's just not me talking to Tony off screen. And let's start with my two favorite people on the next segment, John and Jordan. I'm so happy, Jordan. Yeah.
You forgot the most important thing about that patch. It glows in the dark.
That patch glows in the dark?
That patch glows in the dark.
No one told me.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, now you can have a glow-in-the-dark patch when you walk into a dark bar. Hey, Jordan.
Hey.
Jordan, you look a little different.
Yeah. I went into a time machine over the weekends and flew back about 10 years.
You're 14 again?
Yeah, pretty close,
right.
actually. Yeah. 16. But,
A couple of people are asking, hey, what happened to your beard? Is the time machine the reason we're going with?
Yeah,
Okay.
time machine.
We'll leave it at that. So y'all are both on to talk about Warfare Weekend.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us, first off, a lot of people are going to Warfare Weekend, which is what, next week?
It is in 9 days.
9 days.
Yep.
So for those of you who might have missed what Warfare Weekend is what War Machine Weekend evolved into. It is a weekend of playing games, hanging out, and it's one of the best community shows. Like, it is the show to go hang out with people, get your games in, and then spend all night just chatting and having a fun time. A lot of people obviously go there for the events. They go for the big Invitational, which is one of the premier competitive events in America for War Machine. Aside from the Invitational, what events are you looking forward to, or can you tell people about from Warfare Weekend?
So there's broad spectrum covering War Machine and Hordes, Monster Apocalypse, and Riot Quest.
Okay.
So all three of our marquee games are being supported at the show.
With prizes?
With prizes.
Nice.
Some of those you'll have to wait and see on because dopeness. As far as War Machine is concerned, you've got, as you mentioned, the Invitational, which is on Sunday, and then the LCQ, which goes basically throughout the whole weekend. So your last chance qualifier, one of your ways to get into the Iron Gauntlet.
Into the Invitational.
Into the Invitational, sorry.
Yep.
Yes.
It's always been one of the most fun things about the Invitational is that even if you didn't qualify, you have that one last chance, and you usually face a field of 150 some odd players, so that the poor person who makes it in has gone through a meat grinder and then gets an Invitational. And unfortunately, I don't remember off the top of my head if anyone has ever won the LCQ and won the Invitational from it. Chat, if you can let us know, was there anybody who ever won the LCQ?
that happened like 3 years ago.
But I don't remember who it was. I hope we just sit here with awkward silence.
I think I know the person's name, but I don't remember if they actually did or not.
So we're going to have stuff for all three games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Is there any other kind of events going on that you want to showcase or talk about?
There's a whole bunch of hobby classes going on as well. Jordan will be there. He's not doing any specific classes, but he is going to be there to answer hobby questions as well as probably show you how to play Riot Quest.
Yeah, bringing some stuff. I'm excited.
Got all kinds of stuff. And then you're also responsible for a model that we're bringing to Warfare Weekend that is an exclusive to the show. You can only get it there.
Yep. That would be, yeah. You want to talk about it?
Yes, I will pop that right up here.
Yeah.
Ashlyn de Liberty.
Yep. This model is sweet. So this is both a Mompoc and a War Machine model, right?
That is correct. So right here, she's a separate piece, and you can either magnetize her and pop her onto 30 mil later for War Machine use. She counts as Ashlyn 1, or she can be a representative for the Statue of Liberty in Monster Apocalypse.
Yep. Yeah, it's just a 4-part, but the bottom is resin. And you got a metal model on top of it. So
I'm gonna spin her around a little bit so people can get a
Little
look
bit.
at what's all happening with this model. Is that a pistol in her hand? That is
yeah,
a
it is.
pistol in her
Yeah.
hand.
No, this is a really, really fun model to paint. I had a really good time.
Now, is this a Warfare Weekend exclusive, or
Yes,
will it be
sir.
available on the online store during?
It'll be available on the online store as well.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, we made sure we made enough because we're not going to be able to keep this thing in
But,
shelves.
but
or
only
anywhere.
during the weekend of Warfare Weekend.
Only during the weekend of Warfare Weekend. You got it. You had asked whether or not we might have Leadfoot and Treads.
Yeah, I was going to say, so obviously a lot of people get really excited by our store every year. And there's a great vending area at Warfare Weekend where it's us and a lot of other people making tokens. You know, Jay from Discount Games always comes in. We see Adam from Broken Egg.
Yep.
But I know you can't give the full list of all the pre-releases we'll have. Is there any that you can kind of be like, yes, they will be there, and you want to let people know?
So as far as my information from yesterday, spoke with production to see what I was going to have on hand. I can very close to confirm, because you never know what's going to happen last minute. Sure. But Leadfoot and Treads are on the menu.
Cool. Any other big ones that you can?
Let's see if I have any other quick notifications, because sometimes I get last minute stuff. So let's see here. So as far as October, I'm bringing all of October. So in case you missed it in your stores, I will have it with me because everyone needs Alexia, because that's just the way it is, and you need Orsus the Unchained for Riot Quest.
So all the models I just went over that we're talking about people going to store, those,
I should
those
have
will be there.
all of those on hand, as well as it looks like good chance of having the new mat from Monster Apocalypse, the Carnage Corners mat.
New neoprene mats are always
New
good.
neoprene mats are dope. It looks like I should have Boss McHorn, and right now I'm sitting at about a 60%, but Eric tells me it's a pretty good chance I will also have the Dunian Archon.
Awesome.
And a couple other items.
Yeah, and there'll be a few other. We obviously not going to spoil everything, but yeah. So we'll have some pre-releases there, and we expect some really excitement. Like we know the pink tanks are going to be a big deal, and
Big
so
deal.
knowing that they'll be there is going to be excellent for a lot of the Trollboy players, especially if the Dunian Archon comes out. It'll be really nice.
It is a priority, and I know they are pumping them out in production. So I will have a number of them. What that number is, I'm unsure just yet. Hopefully it's a lot.
To roll back to the events we're talking about, if anyone ever won the LCQ and won the Invitational, thank you, Twitch chat, for pointing out that it was Chris Davies, active player, who won with his Mad Dog spam. I don't really remember that. I remember looking down at the table after the finals, and I blacked out. And when I came back up, they had been errated. So the area in between is really just a giant black hole in my memory.
Right.
But thanks for bringing it up. So before we let you guys go, what are you going to be doing at Warfare Weekend other than working? What are you bringing to, like, I'm bringing a Riot Quest adventuring party to, like, 6 models, and I'm going to be playing Riot Quest with people as much as I can. Like, Jordan, what are you going to do for fun?
So I'm going to be doing a little bit of everything. Like I'm bringing my Infernals army that I've been slowly working on, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about in one of the next segments.
Okay, cool.
I'm just now planning on bringing some Riot Quest stuff.
Cool.
I'm starting to get that organized since I've got about a week or so before we leave. And then I'm going to have paint stuff there. So I'm expecting I'm going to be doing a bit of painting as well.
Because
So,
there's
a little
usually
bit
like
of
a
everything.
painting lounge to hang out in.
Yeah, there's a
for other
painting
people.
lounge, and there's a lot of stuff to work on paint-wise for me. So
John, what are you going to be doing for fun?
For fun, I am going to be hanging out with the delightful Doug Hamilton. Like, that's an absolute. Travis Mark will be there.
Yes.
He's not working for me at the show. He's playing, so I will be there to, somewhat cheer him on / jeer him as he, sits in the tank forever.
He's bringing his Infernals and his Riot Quest. I don't know if he's bringing his Mompoc. I don't know if he can fit it all in the bag, but I was talking to him about it recently.
He wanted to bring his Monpoc,
Yeah.
so I imagine he will. As far as games, I will have my Signar, which is currently undefeated, meaning everyone who's played against that army is currently undefeated because I'm terrible.
So what we had to figure out is, one talking about staff playing people, is live streams. Are we live streaming at Warfare Weekend?
We are absolutely live streaming at Warfare Weekend. We are live streaming basically all weekend, basically anytime between 10 and 6, probably a little bit longer than that every day. We'll be on the air showing you either highlighted matches from the LCQ, maybe some Riot Quest, maybe some Monster Apocalypse. We'll definitely be checking out the Invitational. But yeah, we'll be there to share the show with you all weekend.
Yep. So we'll be live casting. We'll be shout casting. There'll be commentating from myself, from Faye, from Jeff Hanley. I don't know who else. I think Oz will be doing some as well. We'll be showing as much as we can. And one thing that's come up that I know is not on the docket right now is for several years, there had to be a live stream game between Tim Simpson and one staffer. And Tim beat everyone until it got to me.
Right.
And then I crushed him. I hear he's just coming out of the coma. And I'm wondering if he's going to face someone else. So we'll have to see which of us brings a War Machine army and who wants to dash his hopes and dreams again on
I'm a
stream.
guaranteed win for Tim Simpson.
Well, not if we cheat. And it is our game.
I'm not Oz.
So we can do.
You can
If
change
it's our
the
game, then
rules.
it's not cheating.
Oz cheats. No, Oz cheats.
Yeah.
Oz straight up cheats.
Okay.
So that'll be on this Twitch channel and on Facebook. Join us next week, Friday through Sunday. We will be streaming as much as we possibly can, as many games as we can to show you everything from Warfare Weekend. And for those of you coming, we hope to see you soon, and we hope that you enjoy all the free cool stuff that we'll be giving out as prizes for the people that enter, and all the stuff that we'll have available in the store for people to pick up and purchase.
Absolutely. And then speaking of stuff in the store available for purchase, there's a VIP sale where the vendor room opens early on Thursday night at 8 p.m. We are participating, so if you have a VIP badge and you're there early, you're definitely going to want to come by and get your lead, foot, and treads and some of those other hot ticket items.
How long does that run?
Until I decide I'm done.
Sweet.
Cool.
Usually about an hour, 2 hours, but
Wow.
it
Sweet.
depends until basically all the VIPs are taken care of because, well, that's part of the point.
Right on, man.
All right, John. Thanks for
Excellent.
talking about it, everything. We will see you later. I'm going to hold on to Jordan for a little bit, okay?
You gonna hold on to him?
I'm going to hold on.
I'll let you keep him.
All right, thanks. Bye, Bye, John.
My beardless friend.
It's just you and me now, buddy.
Just you and me.
Two freshly shaven bros.
It's true.
Let's talk about some paints.
Let's talk about some paints.
Let's talk about some models.
Let's talk about what do you want to do? You want to talk about models or you want to talk about paints?
This is your segment,
This is my segment.
and you've got a lot of stuff to show off, so...
I do.
What do you want to do first, some models or some
So,
paints?
Let's start with some paints.
Yeah, go ahead.
'Cause I'm really excited about this. So, a couple weeks ago, and on Get Your Paint On last week, showed off some of the paints that are coming up. Let me re-announce this because some of you may not have heard, but in 2020, we will be releasing 24 new paints to the existing paint line. And let me see if I can get these on.
Yeah, I'll help you out here.
Thank you.
I can get a couple over here. So that's the new sort of like lavender, right?
Yeah, so this is, we've got on the right here, or left, we've got Royal Violet, which is a nice like lavender color. We've got Soulstalker Ink, which is a neon green ink, basically. It's not neon, not
And
fluorescent, but it's really
this is
bright.
not a paint. Like, this is not a traditional, like, you would base a model with this. This is like...
It's an ink.
It's an ink.
It's an actual ink.
My favorite gold of all time. Hold on. I don't even,
Yeah, the camera can't even pick
this
up.
is liquid light.
It's basically a white gold.
Look.
It's very, 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 very bright gold. Yeah, that doesn't show up at all.
It's just liquid light,
We've got Soul Red and Basilisk Brown.
which is kind of a flesh tone, right? Like,
Yeah, so these two colors with the Soulstalker ink are actually the colors for the wow, my brain's not working right now. Planet Eaters for Monster Apocalypse. So like we did when we originally released Monster Apocalypse, we released the guard colors to go with it. And the Planet Eaters colors we've been kind of holding back on, but now we've got them, and we are going to be releasing them as part of the 24 next year.
and we also have this.
We got a Caspian blue.
Just a
This is a
nice-
really beautiful blue color. It's a little bit more towards the kind of purplish range, like our Bad Bruises that we just released for the Infernals release, but it's a lot brighter. So this is really nice, like highlight color for that, or for very, very various different uses. In addition to that, which we're going to show off a couple new paints. So
Got a couple questions from Twitch chat that I
Okay.
think are pretty apropos. First off, are these all coming out in the beginning of 2020, or are these colors in particular spread out?
these are a selection of colors that are going to be coming out over the year. These won't necessarily be coming out at the next, or in one wave. We wanted to kind of select some that are going to be coming out during all points of the next year.
Okay.
So these aren't the first segment that are coming out. These are just a selection.
And the next question was, will there be faction packs for the Monpok factions as a paint set, or are these all going to be sold separately?
These are all going to be sold separately. I'm not sure whether or not we want to do that or not, but you'll know when we know.
And Friendly Troll Painter says that you should think about doing a P3 painting book.
That is a good idea. If you want to look up a lot of the recipes for our old factions, if you can get your hands on them, our Mark II books have a lot of really great recipes for our original faction recipes. So they do exist out there in print if you can get them.
But when these paints come out, I assume we'll see some probably insiders or other stuff going online.
Yeah. There will be a lot of media from us talking about what they're for. Like there are, like we have the colors for Planet Eaters, we do have some colors for other things, which we'll go into when those come out.
Yep.
But to the new paints that we've got to show you guys today, we've got 2 new ones. This is one that I talked about for the other day.
I'm just going to yank these out of the way.
Yeah, just go ahead and pull them.
These.
Yep.
All right.
So this is Broken Brick.
Broken Brick. I'm going
This
to
is-
tilt it this way.
This looks a little red on camera, but this is actually a hot pink.
Yeah, this is not going to show up on camera properly. We will have to post some photos of this online later because in person, this is fuchsia. This is just super hot pink.
Yeah, this is a color that I've been wanting personally in the range for a long time because Kernel Pink is great and you can mix a lot of things into it. But I've always wanted a really, really vibrant, saturated hot pink, and this is definitely that.
Yeah. No.
The next one is one of my personal favorites, which is Bile Thrall.
Is that just the name of it? Is Bile Thrall?
Bile Thrall. And this is a kind of greenish ochre color.
That's gross.
Yeah, it's gross. It works really well for your Crix needs, for your kind of weird, disgusting skin.
Get a pot
what
of
have
Bile
you.
Thrall.
Get a pot of Bile Thrall.
For your Crix needs.
Hey, you know what? I imagine that when the Bile Thralls explode, this is what the explosion looks like.
It's this
Just
paint.
that weird paint color.
Yeah, or just paint pots. And is this a traditional paint? It's not a wash or anything like that?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so these two are traditional paints. They're not washes, they're not glazes, they're not what have you, inks. So they're what you can expect.
Cool. That's awesome. And so this is now people have seen 8 of the 20 that are coming out.
24.
Of 24 coming out in 2020.
So there are still 16 left.
Okay. And we will have to post some photos because I think this hot pink probably shows up a little better on this camera.
It shows up great here. But you can see how
Yeah.
bright that is.
Let's
Yeah.
see. From a distance, you can see that this is just
Get rid of some of that glare.
just the hottest pink you can possibly get.
The Bile Thrall.
Oh, Tony, I like what you did here. Hold on.
Look at that. You want to put the other one on there too?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Spin that one around
I'll
so they can
spin it
actually
around
see
so
the
people
color.
can see the
There you
color.
go.
Look at this. Yes.
It's awesome. I'm super excited for all these new
I should be a
colors.
paint model.
You should be a paint model. We'll discuss this later.
That's not all you wanted to show us, though, right?
Correct.
You
So
have
we-
some new models to
Yeah,
show.
so we've got a couple of models that we've talked about before, but we haven't shown the painted versions of yet.
Yeah.
And these are the Legion of Lost Souls.
Oh, cool.
Let's go ahead and get on this. Pardon my short arms.
Oh, it's okay. I got you, boo.
Thanks, buddy.
So these are the fully painted. These are the studio quality ones.
Yep. So these are actually some of my favorite models that I've seen in a long time. There's something about dudes with halberds and shields in armor, like plate armor, that like I'm super excited about every time. And these models look sick.
Let's see if I can get one a little closer to the camera here, so that people.
Yeah,
can,
so there's skeletons that are in full plate armor that are
there's kind of weird
got some
lighting going
sweet-
on. My hand is like a supernova.
supernova.
Yeah, these are super sweet. They actually look. I mean, obviously you did a pro level job, but for us amateur painters, they look very easy to paint.
They are. I mean, we've got a lot of really like simple techniques that we use to do the metals in the studio. That involves a lot of like silver dry brushing and glazes and washes and what have you that just make painting metal models like this really easy. We've got a couple of videos on it specifically on our YouTube channel, which I might be able to get Tony to link in for us later, if we can.
Yeah. I think these models, obviously they're going to be great in War Machine Hordes, but we know a lot of people buy models for RPGs.
Oh,
These models remind me of one of my favorite books from back in the early mid 80s. That was a manual with a bunch of monsters in it of a sort. Like flipping through, and like these just look like classic undead that you'd find in a crypt running around. So I expect that we're probably going to see a lot of these outside of War Machine as well, because they're just great sculpts. How hard are they to put together?
Pretty easy.
Do you know how many parts they are off the top of your head? That's fine.
No, these are really early versions, so I don't
know
necessarily the 100% correct versions. I don't know if they're going to cut them up a little bit more. But.
And so I also think anybody starting an Order of Illumination army, like you're probably going to see 1 or 2 units of these, along with Alexia the Undying.
And they'll look really good because this is a 10-man unit.
Yeah.
So like getting 10 of these together, these would look really good. Just because of these models and some of the other Order of Illumination models that I've seen, like I am super excited to look into playing this army.
And speaking of playing new armies, you know what? Why don't we have Tony play the drums, and let's get Faye to come wander over here, and why don't y'all tell me about the Staff Oblivion campaign?
Hit the drums!
Oh, you're gonna get, hey,
Get in the middle.
it's less awkward that way.
What's up?
Hey.
Hey.
I love Faye.
I was saying hi to
You
Faye
looked into my eyes and said, "Hey, Faye."
I looked through your eyes.
I mean,
Faye, is this your first Primecast?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Everyone who
I
hasn't
think
met Faye?
I think I started here right after the old Primecast ended.
Yes, I just didn't know if you had been on one previously.
Nah.
That I missed.
Nope.
Faye is like lead playtester.
Something. Who knows? I might show up in the CID forums.
You might
I don't know.
You might show up in the CID forums very soon. Faye is going to be taking a much larger role with us in development very soon. So we'll have announcements about that soon. But something that you and Jeff Hanley really have kind of spearheaded recently is that we're going to be playing through an Oblivion narrative campaign here at the office.
Yep.
So real fast, those of you who didn't know, Oblivion, the box set that came out, had this book full of all kinds of fluff and art and fiction, and it has a full narrative campaign you can play with 2 to 4 people, or you can house rule it to play with more, where you take the side of basically guardians trying to fight against the Infernal invasion, or corruptors that are helping the Infernals, whether they know it or not. And this is not competitive play. This is to tell a story. You start off with 25-point armies that don't even have casters attached with them. And as you play over the several weeks with all your opponents, you have these branching paths of scenarios that are unique to you. You create your own plot line, your own storyline that is different every time you play. And eventually you go through your own trials and tribulations, and you all meet up at the end in a giant mega battle. So that's what it is. And you can find all of that in Oblivion. But why did y'all decide to do this?
I love playing War Machine, and I hadn't gotten a chance to play the Oblivion campaign yet. And after the move, and after we kind of got a little bit more settled, thought it might be a good point or a good way to get some of the newer folks at the company who may not have gotten a chance to play War Machine yet.
Because we have a lot of new like packers and
absolutely.
people in the warehouse who are all War Machine fans.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, I'd love a chance to kind of get to work on my Infernals army a little bit more. And I kind of thought up with this idea to do an internal Oblivion campaign. And I got together with Faye to get it organized.
Yeah, so definitely we're going to, 12, 16 people, who knows how many. But we're going to try and run it all together, so everybody's going to kind of be intermixed. And if you want to do that, if you want to break the rules of the 4-person max, I really suggest having a GM to run it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it gets a little chaotic, and you really do need to assign games. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be keeping track of everyone and putting people together to play games.
And what's kind of happening here is because we have a lot of new blood at the company, is we're kind of building a community. We all love War Machine. We all love playing War Machine. That's why we're here, right? And the other games we make as well. Some of us have just been doing it for a really long time. Like I've been playing the game for 15 years. Tony's been playing the game for 10 years. And then we have people that have been playing for 6 months. War Machine is a skill-based game. We know that, right? And if somebody who's played for 6 months meets somebody who's played for 10 years, like if Tony, who's played for a decade, plays somebody who's just picked up their first battle box and they played in a steamroller, not the best introduction, right?
Yeah.
But this is a good way for people to start slow, build their force, meet each other, play the game, and just have a ton of fun. Do you know what some of the people are playing in the narrative campaign? Like what armies and what factions are playing?
Faye would definitely know more.
Yeah, so, well, I'm going to play Flames in the Darkness. I'm going to play a Thamrite army. I'm going to play, actually, the army that I showed everybody on my Oblivion retrospective. So cross 2 with Thamrite stuff, which should be a lot of fun. Let's see. I know that you're playing Infernals, obviously.
Yep.
I know that we've got, let's see, one person playing Gators. We've got another person playing Infernals, another person playing Signar, potentially Flames in the Darkness, Dark Signar. So,
Has anybody
Maro
built a really
Signar?
strong narrative around one of their armies yet? Like someone, like you say you're playing Flames, but you're only playing Thamarites.
Yes.
Like your army will not have any Morrowinds in it?
Almost certainly there will be one unit of Morrowinds, just because there's no unit of Thamrites.
We were so close.
Hey, I advocated for a unit of Thamrites. You guys shot me down because you're like, well, production's not ready for that. So whatever.
Don't say you guys. I wasn't
You
part
guys.
of that.
I do know that Brian's planning on playing Protectorate.
Yeah.
Is it his like Roman Legion looking protectorate, the ones that have
I'm
the
not
headdresses and the shields? Which
No,
was
haven't seen
a
that.
Temple Flame Guard list. Brian's behind the camera. He's giving me the thumbs up right now. So he has a heavily themed. It looks like 300 meets Protectorate.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
and it's a Temple Flame Guard army.
I need
So-
to see this.
Yeah, what's your Infernal theme? What are you doing?
I'm not quite sure yet. I have a huge collection. I basically got one of everything when during like the prep for Lock and Load. So I have basically everything. So I haven't quite decided what I want to do as far as like putting stuff together. I think I'm just going to do Infernals. I'm not going to do any of the other like split.
Hearts of Darkness,
Hearts
where
of
you
Darkness,
can play
thank
the
you,
other
yeah.
factions. Yeah.
Yep.
So you want to play Dark Legacy.
Yeah. I just like the Infernals models a ton, and I really want to stick to that theme.
I can't do it yet, but eventually I want to be able to run a 75-point irregulars list that's nothing but Riot Quest solos.
You have talked to me about this.
So-
Just
More
Riot
than
Quest
once.
solos, and then because power is meant to be abused, one day make a theme force that is just Haley 3 and nothing but Riot Quest models. So it's just that she's doing weird time stuff and she's yanked them over from the timeline, and that's the whole theme force. That's all you can play.
So oddly enough,
That really should be a theme for us.
I
You should
know.
do
yeah,
that.
Flames of the Darkness doesn't work super well without a Warcaster. So for the first couple of games, I'm going to be playing with just Riot Quest models, basically.
Yeah.
I think there might be one
seems
non-Riot
fine.
Quest model in
Should
there.
be fine.
But yeah.
There's no problems here.
So for anybody who's interested in it, how can our community engage with the internal community? Do you know of any ways, any plans for people watching to sort of keep an eye on or engage in what we're doing here? Because we are in a unique position where we can not just do this for fun, but we can kind of share it with everyone.
Yeah. So, it's going to be, for a lot of the people, doing the campaign is going to be just a fun thing because they're learning how to play War Machine. We don't want to burden them with other things to do. But I'm going to be writing some insiders. I'm going to be probably on stream playing a Staff Showdown at some point.
Nice.
So, we should interface with the community a lot as we're going through this. And it's going to run quite a bit because we're giving people lots of time to be able to play their games. So I think it's going to end in like late January.
Yeah, we're
It's gonna be a
extending it
while.
out a little bit so that people have more time to kind of build and assemble or build and paint their stuff if they're not comfortable with hobbying. Like that's kind of the reason why I wanted to get involved with it too, is that I want to be able to help the people who may not have even gotten into the hobby before to learn how to assemble and prime and
Yep.
paint
I
models.
just
Will we see this sort of invade all the other streams to a little degree? Like, will you get your paint on at one point that is you working on something you're painting for the narrative?
I mean, I already have. Like,
Sure.
I've on multiple occasions, I've painted some things for specifically for my Infernals army. I did it last week with Deviros, and it's possible because there's a lot of upcoming, Infernals models coming out on the schedule. It's very possible that we'll do it again.
Okay, cool.
So
That sounds awesome.
we'll see.
Yeah.
So before we let you both go, what are you most excited about regarding us doing this internal campaign? What has you the most hype? Start with you, Jordan.
Finishing painting my Infernals army.
Yeah,
I'm really excited.
just getting it
about
done.
that,
Faye?
Yeah, well, it gives me a good reason to paint the Samurai army. I finally got the color pattern done. I actually painted one of the models.
What is your scheme? What are you doing?
It's going to be a dark blue with occasional red bits just for like really highlight stuff, and then some brighter like cold steel up to galvanized steel metal, so that it'll kind of pop from the navy blue.
So you're not using the new hot pink that we just showed off, because I do want to see an army where that is the primary color.
I have no
I have some
idea
hot pink
how to
in mine.
use that.
Like, I want to see a
bit
Rulik army where the armor panels are that color.
Well, you know what? I mean, Oz is playing as Rulik. I feel like you need to bring that upstairs and
what we can do with
suggest
that.
something.
Sorry, I'm not letting you touch the hot paint.
Oh no!
Can't have it.
Fine.
It's all mine.
But yeah, I'm also really looking forward to teaching new people. I think we've got, 4 pretty new people. So, I do a lot of teaching games around the area. I've always done that. And I always look forward to teaching new people how to play the game.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for being on, everybody. And speaking of teaching people new things, we're going to swap the two of you out with Brian and Danny and talk about the hobby hangout for a bit.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Don't forget your paints, Jordan. Because I will take that hot pink.
You can't have it.
I know where it is. Hey, buddy.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
For those of you who have never watched the show before, Danny Samuels, Brian McLaughlin. Brian's been here at Privateer Press for a decade.
Pretty close, about
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 been with us for a really long
9
time.
years now.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. You just started recently seeing him on camera as part of the Hobby Hangout, a new show that I believe you and Tony kind of came up with and then made a reality.
Jeff and
Other
yeah,
people.
Jeff, Tony.
Yeah, it was a
Brian.
bit of a
It was kind of a
round table.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were like, here, let's make something cool. And here's an idea.
So what is it? For people who have never watched it before, what is Hobby Hangout?
So it's split into 2 different things, right? We've got a hobby hangout with me where I'm showing off how to make some, kit bash different parts of our models together to make different things for your games, different accessories, while we're also showing some cool scratch building techniques.
Yeah, there's the cannon, the artillery piece that you built on one of the first ones. Tony just brought
Exactly.
up.
And so we'll actually include those bits as a package that you can purchase, but I'll be showing you guys all sorts of cool scratch building techniques on how to push these things together and make something unique. And then Brian also has a really cool kind of separate show.
What I tend to focus on a lot more is more the fundamentals, hobbying type techniques. I love showing off a bunch of tips and tricks on like how to fabricate your own tools, different things that I use that aren't necessarily like the highest of the high-end materials, but they get the job done and something that I can make and specifically to the things that I need.
Sure. And
just a bunch of things like basic hobbying, fundamental tips and tricks.
So it's 2 halves of the same show.
Yep.
Yep. It's under the same umbrella, and they kind of go hand in hand, right?
So, if we're being honest with ourselves, which half is better?
Oh, definitely Brian's.
Right.
I'd say it's
100%.
Yeah.
You would say it's Danny's?
He's got some pretty cool stuff that comes out.
Brian shows all sorts of really, really cool cheats. I mean, it's basically like model assembly cheat code, the movie.
Okay. Well, we're talking about what we're talking about. A lot of viewers might be like, "Well, that sounds a little bit much for me." Is your show more aimed at amateurs or more aimed at people that are already experienced in this? Is it both? Do you do different segments? That one is like, this is for beginners, and one that like, we're going to get into some really deep stuff here. Like, who's your target here?
Well, I've just been starting off with getting the stream going, and I've been kind of like building up towards some of the more advanced stuff right now, but I do slip in some tips and tricks every now and then. Just some of the tools that I use personally, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week.
Sure.
Just cleaning models all day, every day, and sharing that with some of the advanced hobbyists out there.
Okay.
So that they can see some of the things that'll just make things go a little bit longer or easier for them, or some of the just fundamentals of cleaning up basic mold lines, things like that, that the beginners maybe don't know about.
Cool. And Danny,
I think that overall it's all levels, right? We're showing techniques that can break down. We're trying to break down something that you might think is complicated into simple steps, right? Like here are techniques to make something really, really cool at the end that might seem complicated, or you might believe that you were never able to do. Here are basically, like I said, cheat codes to show you how easy it is. Like nothing that we do on stream is inherently difficult. We've just done this for so long, and we've done it for so many years now that we've come up with a lot of ways to make things easier. So I know that was a really long-winded answer about saying it's for everyone, but it really is. We're trying to show how to make something difficult that you think is difficult easy, right?
So, because you have two different shows, I'll start with you, Danny. When somebody watches the Hobby Hangout for the first time, what is your take? What do you want them to take away from the show? Do you want them to take little bits and pieces of I might try this thing, or is your hope, like in a perfect world, is your dream they watch you build a kit bash and then they go build that exact same kit bash and start using it, or do you want them to just use aspects of it? Like what is your perfect end goal for a viewer to do?
So I think that what makes this live stream special is we give you a lot of different options, right? Like we make this kit for you. We show you the techniques. Like we're creating your mental tool bag, right? Or toolbox for you to.
No. Mental tool bag is a fantastic statement.
Good band name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? So we're giving you this mental tool bag to do whatever you want with the model parts that we have given you. So I guess that the goal would be for you to take these things, take these techniques between me and Brian's live streams, and spread your wings and fly, right? Like I'm not telling you to go make that exact same cannon. If you want to make that exact same cannon, we've supplied you all the tools and techniques to do that. But what I really want to see is people be creative, take these techniques, and be able to live out their hopes and dreams of being able to make whatever the heck they want on camera.
Well, speaking of which, during your shows, do you both feel open? Like obviously, people will ask you questions, but how open are you to suggestions from chat during your shows of, hey, it would be cool if you could show us how to make this, or it would be cool if you could show us how to do this with this tool. Is that something? Do you read those suggestions, and does that influence upcoming shows in any way?
Yes.
Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I encourage that.
Like, honestly, all I want out of it is people to come around, round table situation, and if somebody has something they want to see, I'm more than willing to share. And if somebody has a tip or a trick in the chat, I'll acknowledge it and be like, yeah, that's a great idea. We can try that too. It's
something I think would be really, really fun is, I always read the comments, and I think it would be really fun for people to come and chime in on something that they'd love to see built, right? Like, Here's a cool idea. I mean, when I come up with what I am going to do for live stream, I literally just go shopping. I walk through the warehouse
and just grab
see what bits we have a bunch of. I see what might bash together, and then I discuss it. I push it up the chain to like Tony and Jeff and just see what would be fun. But if you guys have something really, really cool thematically that you'd love to see that you think would be really, really neat, it doesn't have to be just War Machine. Right? Like I would love to do some Riot Quest stuff. I'd love to do some Monster Apocalypse stuff. So if you guys have any ideas, toss them our way. You can email social media. You can email me.
You can just yell.
Yeah. We'll find you. It's fine.
Just step outside your door and just start shouting.
And we also, I'm pretty active on our Instagram. We have a Terrain and Hobby Instagram where we show a lot of these techniques as well and show a lot of work in progress where I'd love to start photographing some of Brian's stuff to put up there. We do follow people that post hashtag P3 kit bashers. So if you are making cool stuff using these techniques and you want us to show that off too, hashtag P3 kit bashers.
Cool.
And we keep an eye on everything that you guys are doing.
Do you know when your next show is? Tony knows. Tony knows. Tony, when's the next show? See, Tony like a bro. November 22nd. So that's about a month away. I know it's kind of early, so you may not have an answer to this. Do you know what you're doing on the next show, or is it too early to know?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I've got a pretty good idea what I'm doing with it, and I think chat's just going to gobble it up.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you both for coming on and educating everybody about what Hobby Hangout is. Danny, I need to talk about your energy levels. You need to bring it up a little bit. Like you were kind of low on the show. Like we're trying to entertain people, so I need you to just
I'm
be
pouting.
excited.
I'm actually pouting right now.
This is why we're going to cancel the show, Danny.
guys don't understand. I'm actually like lashing out and pouting because Tony confiscated my propane torch that I tried to bring in today.
That's a good thing.
And he took it away from me, so I'm actually like really lashing out. And
That actually terrifies me.
I
with the torch.
just want to leave.
Thanks, Danny. I'm so sorry, Brian. All right, y'all. Well, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
We will play some drums, and we will see y'all later. Make
Thank
sure you watch
guys.
their show next month.
Please.
Tony, next time I need you to not sit me next to Danny. It's like being in a cage with a tiger. Like, the tiger seems cuddly and safe, but at any point you might get attacked. Did you see the end of that segment? It ended with propane torches.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a lone wolf. He just kind of sits where he wants to.
Yeah, he's a loose cannon.
Yeah.
If we did Lethal Weapon and we cast people, he'd be Mel Gibson. 100%. Everybody, hey, thanks for coming to Primecast. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for chatting with us. If you want to see some more specific materials, we've got 2 more streams this week. We're doing the dev chat tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific with myself and Oz. We'll be talking about all the cool stuff coming up in the Convergent CID, which starts the Monday after. So this will be your first look at a ton of new concept art and to get to hear sort of the rules, ideas, and the general design philosophies we're taking on those new models. We'll also talk to you a bit about the new theme force that's coming with them as well. And then Jordan will be painting on Get Your Paint On on Thursday as well. So if you want to come talk to Jordan about maybe that Infernal Army he's doing for the campaign, that'd be a good time. Obviously, check us out on the 19th for the Riot Quest Staff Showdown. And please, help Brian, keep him safe from Danny. Come watch the Hobby Hangout on November 22nd. Next Primecast, we'll let you know in the future when they'll be coming. There may be one in December. It's hard to say with the holidays. So if there isn't one, we'll hopefully be back in January. But thanks for joining, everybody. We will see you next time. Be safe. Goodbye.